Greetings, everyone. My name is Dr. Steve Vargo, and welcome to another episode of Can I Ask You One Question, where I delve into the minds of industry experts and thought leaders and try to learn one thing from them, one critical thing that we can immediately apply to our professional lives, even our personal lives. And I have with me here today Dr. Jennifer Stewart. And Dr. Stewart is a partner at Norwalk Eye Care and also co-founder at Performance 2020, a practice specializing in sports and performance vision. She's one of the industry's leading experts and authorities on sports vision, both on the clinical side and the business development side. And she's just really an overall cool person to know. So welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you. That's some introduction. So thank you.
I save the best for last. But yeah, thanks for taking a few minutes. I wanted to ask you on because of your background in sports vision, and I think what we're seeing is an increased interest on the specialty side of eye care. And as more ODs look to differentiate their practice and their brand and add services, I think their clinical minds go to work. What additional knowledge do I need to learn to be able to gain the knowledge I need to build the specialty? But you can possess all this knowledge, but as you know, turning that into a profitable business requires some business and marketing skills. So my question to you is, in your experience, what's the most effective way to market a sports vision specialty?
So we didn't really know where to start when we started Performance 2020, because when we started 5-6 years ago, we were really the only ones doing what we were doing in the capacity that we were doing it. So we took the plunge to start a standalone sports and performance vision training center separate from my practice. So we had no patients walking in and out, no business that had been there before. So I was kind of hoping that we'd open up and people would just flood in and, as we all hope that we just turn the light on and people just flood in and come in and hear about us from word of mouth right away. I can tell you that flat out did not happen as much as I wanted it to. I think, the biggest key is just being patient. And I think that that's the hardest thing to do, is to be patient and wait, and to really spend the time to develop your business model and to really get out in the community and talk about what you're doing. And we all know that, and we all know to do that, but there is no shortcut, I think, for success. I spend a lot of time emailing people. I took a list of all of the hockey coaches in Fairfield County, which is the county my sports vision practice is. And I emailed every single one of them, introducing myself and letting them know what I did. And then I sat back and, I waited and I went, okay, here we go. I'm going to have all these people write me back. And you could probably guess, well, I had one person write me back and that was it. But I took that one person and I turned that into the highest level of service I could. And I brought him in, and he was a former NHL player. I picked him up at the train station. I drove him to our practice. I gave him, the white glove service, and he turned into my biggest fan and really took me under his wing and introduced me to people. And from there, we were off and running.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing, and what you're saying is patience and persistence. Yeah. And I heard the term recently that people in, it was in reference to sales in general, which I suppose some of this we're doing when you're trying to sell or market a specialty, that too often we get what was termed a yes addiction. If we don't get that yes right away, we give up, where there's a lot of value in having that persistency and that diligence, like you said. And one other question that I'm interested in from my own personal background is having two kids. I have a 12 and a 10-year-old. I'm sorry, 14 and a 12-year-old. I should know my kids' own age. 14 and 12, who are both in travel baseball. They play sports, multiple sports. The biggest sports being travel baseball. So from a financial perspective, so I sat down the other day and I totaled up what I thought we had spent just on travel baseball alone, and the total came in just under $8 million, or at least that's what it felt like. from a financial perspective, when you're talking to parents, you know how much money is at stake and how many things that they're spending money on. The hockey gear, the baseball gear, the bats, the gloves, the tournaments. How do you address the financial side? Because there has to be some aspect of this that is an issue of a priority, that we've got all these other things. And so for someone looking to build that as part of their practice and having to have those conversations with parents where parents are spending a ton of money, do you have any advice for how that conversation goes, where you can maybe elevate that in the mind of probably a lot of parents you're talking to, or just athletes in general, that they would be able to maybe bump that up a little bit on their list of priorities?
I think of it no different than being in the exam room. And I feel that it's the same way that I talk about daily disposables and second pairs and everything that we do in our daily life. I took everything that I've developed and that kind of framework and used it at a sports vision practice. So really being passionate and having a belief in what you're doing, and not just selling something to sell it, but to really feel passionate about the product, whether that product is myopia management, specialty dry eye treatment, sports vision, daily disposables, anything that you're doing, vision therapy. If you truly believe that what you have developed is important and that you have this passion behind it, I think it would be very hard for somebody to not feel that and to not feel that they want to be a part of that. So, my energy and my excitement about sports vision, I hope becomes apparent when I talk to people and parents and athletes, and I get so excited about it, and I'm so passionate about what value I can bring to them. And I think when they feel that everyone has a set dollar amount that they can spend on whatever it is. And, I think our goal is to make good choices for our patients and our athletes, and to say, this is what I believe in, and this is what I think is going to make you more successful. And if you give them the reasons to do that, that's the best we can do, and hope that we can, make them, sign up for sports vision training or get that annual supply of contact lenses, but really not just doing it to do it, but to do it for a deeper purpose.
Yeah, I think that enthusiasm absolutely does wear off on other people in a good way. I always tell, people ask sometimes what, if they're looking for a specialty to add, they'll say, what specialty should I add? And my first question to them is often not what they expect. I'll ask them, what do you want to do? What are you interested in? I don't know anyone who does what you're doing at the level you're doing it at, who's not really passionate about it and gets that far with it. You end up dabbling. If you're not really passionate and motivated about it, you end up one of those people that just dabbles in sports vision or vision therapy or specialty contact. So it's such a great place to start, is around what you're passionate about. And I agree 100%. I think that starts to rub off on the patient.
Yeah, I think it's fun and exciting. Is it hard work? Absolutely. My husband's my business partner at our sports vision practice. So it's great because we get to work together on that. But, we're always doing something, and there's, Saturday, 5:00, we'll be doing something. Sunday morning, we might be doing something. So, I don't close my computer at the end of the day and say, that's it, work is done. So it's a 24/7 job, but I chose that for a reason, because I love it and I love living and breathing it. But if you do it to make money, or if you're doing it as, a way to, be more successful, you can be, but there's a lot of elbow grease and a lot of hard work that goes into it.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you, Jennifer. Thanks for all your time. Keep up the great work. And we look forward to your articles and podcasts and all the stuff that you do. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.